Hey, what's going on, everybody? We are here at Raleigh Memorial Park. Let me lock the rental car up. In Raleigh, North Carolina. And we are here today to visit an icon of sports broadcasting. I guess you could say back in the time of sports broadcasting before, like now they have to have shows and they have to have people arguing and stuff. Like back then they just hit you with like, the highlights and I don't know, like between Stuart Scott, which is who we're here to visit and pay respects, Dan Patrick, Oberman, Rich Eisen, like all those guys, they just anchored the desk and they gave you the news of sports. And I don't know, it just seems like a better time. Maybe I'm getting older, but if this is your first time here, welcome. I hope you enjoy the video. If you do, please consider liking, subscribing, sharing, doing all those things. And if this isn't your first time here, hey, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the video as well. We're gonna walk around this cemetery. We'll talk about Mr. Scott's life. We'll celebrate his life. And then at the end, we'll go visit his grave, pay respects, and do all those things. And yeah, try to keep it short now. So let's go. So I don't know if you can tell, but it's a good little hill big boy's walking up. So if I'm a little winded, that's why. So Stuart Scott was born in Chicago, Illinois on July 19th, 1965. When he was 7, Scott and his family moved to Winston-Salem. He attended Mount Tabor High School for 9th and 10th grade and then completed his last 2 years at Richard J. Reynolds High School in Winston-Salem. Graduating in 1983 in high school, he was captain of his football team. He ran track, served as vice president of the student council, and was sergeant at the arms of the school's Key Club. He attended the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, where he was part of the on-air talent at WXYC. While at UNC, Scott also played wide receiver and defensive back for the football team. In '87, Scott graduated from UNC with a BA in speech communication. Really? Look, they could have flown, I hate to cut, I don't like doing this, but they could have flown anywhere else, right? I was trying to walk to this statue and they really could have flown anywhere else on this property. Anywhere. Beautiful green grass everywhere. But no, they pick right here. So we're gonna go get in a fight with some geese. Let's see what happens. So, following graduation, he worked as a news reporter and weekend sports anchor at WPDE TV in Florence, South Carolina from '87 to '88. Scott came up with the phrase, "as cool as the other side of the pillow," while working his first job at WPDE. So ESPN's vice president at the time brought Scott in to work on ESPN2 because they were looking for sportscasters who might appeal to younger audiences, like I guess that would be me at the time. His first assignment was for Sports Smash, a sportcast twice an hour on ESPN2 Sports Night program. After Keith Oberman left Sports Night for ESPN Sports Center, Scott took his place in the anchor chair at Sports Night. After this, Scott was a regular on Sports Center because how could you not like Stuart Scott? I mean, he was, like I said, the catchphrases, that other side of the pillow, man, you couldn't have come up with nothing no better. At Sports Center, Scott was frequently teamed with fellow anchors Steve Levy, Kenny Mayne, Dan Patrick, and Rich Eisen. Scott was a regular in the This Is Sports Center commercials. Oh my God, those were epic too, right? Like they just, is it because of the mouse bottom? Is that the deal with ESPN? Like, is that why they fell apart? So in 2002, Scott was named studio host for the NBA on ESPN. He became the lead host in 2008 when he began at ABC in the same capacity for its NBA coverage, which included the NBA Finals. When Monday Night Football moved to ESPN in 2006, Scott hosted on-site coverage, including Monday Night Countdown, post-game Sports Center coverage. So, like I was saying a minute ago, here's what we were walking to. So, as of right now, we're okay, right? Yeah, we're good. I just wanted to show this. I always like if they have that's Daniel. All right. We've got, that's Jeremiah. All right. And we've got, this would be Isaiah. All right. So yeah. And Ezekiel. I can't forget Ezekiel. So as I said earlier, when he came up with that catchphrase, the cooler than the other side of the pillow, which is the title of the video, I had to name it that because that's my favorite catchphrase. Like some of his other ones I know was, he must be the bus driver because he's taking him to school. I mean, see what had happened was, and can I get a witness from the congregation? And there was like so many more, but those are just the ones that stick out. And after leaving Connecticut on a Sunday morning in 2007 for Monday Night Football in Pittsburgh, Scott had a stomach ache. After the stomach ache worsened, he went to the hospital instead of the game. And later, he had his appendix removed. After testing the appendix, doctors learned that he had cancer. 2 days later, he had surgery in New York that removed part of his colon and some of the lymph nodes near the appendix. By December, Scott, while undergoing chemotherapy, hosted Friday night ESPN NBA coverage and led the coverage of NBA's Christmas Day studio show on ABC. And Scott said of his experience with cancer at the time, one of the coolest things about having cancer, and I know that sounds like an oxymoron, is meeting other people who have had to fight it. You have a bond. It's like a fraternity or sorority. Sadly, and most regularly, the cancer returned in 2011, but it did eventually go back in remission. He was again diagnosed with cancer on July 14th of 2013, and by 2014, he had undergone 58 infusions of chemotherapy and switched to chemotherapy pills at the time. Scott also underwent radiation and multiple surgeries as part of his cancer treatment. Scott never wanted to know what stage of cancer he was in. And on July 16th of 2014, Scott was honored at the ESPY Awards with the Jimmy V Award for his ongoing battle against cancer, which was his final public appearance before his passing. He shared that he had 4 surgeries in the past week prior to that appearance when he was suffering from liver complications and kidney failure. So on the morning of January 4th of 2015, it was the last day that Stuart Scott sadly fought his last day with cancer. And here we go. Grave of Stuart Scott. It says, how he lived, why he lived, and the manner in which he lived. A beloved, generous, trailblazing son, brother, father, uncle, cousin, nephew, and friend. So yeah, the grave of Stuart Scott. Somebody we shouldn't have lost. Good guy. It's just, I don't know, cancer sucks. Most of the time I'm like, yeah, check that off the list, but this is one of those, like, sometimes I go to some and I'm like, gosh, man, why did that one have to go? And he's one of them, you know? I really enjoyed his personality. Like, if he was on there, I knew it was going to be fun. He made sports broadcasting fun, you know, like between him and Dan Patrick and Overman and Maine and Eisen and all them people, right? All them guys. They really, I don't know, a little fat boy from Alabama could try to watch some Alabama football highlights, and when we wasn't good, and they could laugh and they could talk and take jabs, and I don't know, it was just, it helped kind of, even in the mornings too, you watch the replay highlights and all that stuff. It just sucks, but not a lot, you know, we can do about it. I'm just glad we got what time we had with him, I guess. That's what I was saying with Davey. Instead of being upset, we'll try to spin that half full and just be glad we got him, what we got of him, right? So yeah, thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. Try not to be Debbie Downer, but sometimes, you know, it's a bummer. And I guess that's just life and death, but you know, I'm not gonna hide it, at least from y'all anyway. So I hope you enjoyed the video. We got some more coming soon. Hopefully I can get back out next week, do some more filming. And yeah, thanks to the members. Thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. Try not to step in all this goose droppings out here. Last thing I want to do is slide and skate on that. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. And you never know what you'll find on the back roads. I'll see you guys next time.